Skibbity bobbity bobbity boopity pistachio pasta fazzoli bibbity boppity boppity boo. You come to me with your problems. All right. Hello, Aaron. Please keep me anonymous for this one as it is a sensitive topic. I also think it's unusual as I've never seen you nor anyone else in the massacre talk about this. Yeah, I've never heard this. First, about myself, I'm a late 40s dude living with my long-term girlfriend of the same age in a major U.S. city. We both have good paying jobs and have no debt and live below our means. We also don't have children, are way past the point of that happening. Speaking of kids, though, we're friends with a few couples that do have kids, all of whom are under 10 and who live within hours drive of us from the urban area. Last week, one of our friends, call her Jane, approached my girlfriend and informed us that Jane's son, call him Johnny, who is just shy of 10, had been watching one of the Harry Potter movies and was asking about orphans, as we know that Harry's character is an orphan. Johnny then asked his mom what would happen if something unfortunate would happen to Jane, and his dad, call him Jim, leaving Johnny an orphan, and Jane answered that her intention is to have him go live with us and be his legal guardians. What? I guarantee you this was not your girlfriend's intention. This is something for other people to think about. Like, okay, you're going to commit to being someone's godparent. What if your spouse, which you may not have yet to meet yet, like that's kind of bringing the potential for a huge liability that the other guy or gal doesn't want. It's not as bad as student loans, unless you were like a doctor or, a STEM gal or a program. Aaron, I think you're going to get women to close the wage gap by majoring in STEM. You foolish boy. But yeah, that's and that's so rare, thankfully, because you don't want little kids dying and always go and live with the godparents. But yeah, I've never said this is one out of left field. My girlfriend was already friends with Jane and Jim for some years before she and I met, for your information, and has been Johnny's godmother since he was born. Right, I don't assume any maliciousness. She probably loved it, probably her best friend. Despite this, and not surprisingly, she was taken aback by this news. My GF isn't one to take things just in passing, has been mulling this over seriously. Yeah, I bet. Now she, I wouldn't become anyone's godparent. When she told me, she did so in a somewhat grave tone mixed with apprehension. Yeah, because she's hoping, well, I don't think she is worried you're going to split because you're not the type to do that, I'd imagine. But she's telling you the truth. I'm like, hey, honey, this is Johnny. Well, funny thing happened on the subway to his parents, and oops. When she told me she did it so grave tone, I have to admit that I was too. This is all I know at the point. This news got me thinking about the prospect, which I confess that I have never given much thought to until this past week. What indeed would I do, or any single childless man do, in this position were it to happen? My gut feeling is that it doesn't happen for the next 10 years, by which time Johnny will be over 18 and so a legal adult, but you never know. So I want to reach out to a professional asshole for his opinion. Before you answer, here are some other details. Johnny's mother, Jane, is a naturalized American citizen. We don't have to know where she's from. Johnny has dual citizenship there, so he could go live with his relatives in that country. But that's not what Jane wants. Well, Jane will be dead, in theory. I'm not sure if she's shared her plans with them. I doubt it, because she's not particularly close to them for reasons that stretch back many years. All right. Well, maybe it's best that Johnny don't go live with that side of the family. Johnny's dad, Jim, was born here in the area and has 3 brothers, all of whom are married and have kids. Johnny's paternal grandfather lives 2 hours away and comes to visit from time to time. I consider all this a plus. Johnny has his extended family on Jim's side to help out in case something were to go wrong with he and Jane. 3, I certainly assume that both Jane and Jim have good life insurance and have some money put away in a college fund. Jane has she has a good job, and Jim is also doing fine. That's it for details. I'm sure more will come to light once Jane has finished the will, but I think this is enough for a comment. I put the question out there both for you and your wider audience. I like to know as much as I can about the financials as well as legal guardianship and possible adoption. Since Jane knows the GF much better than she knows me, the GF is likely to end up as primary legal guardian. We're not married, and so should something happen to her or our relationship heads up between now and when Johnny turns 18, I'd probably walk away from this obligation. I would too. That's a deal breaker. I like to know something about this too. Don't get me wrong. I like Johnny and all that, but I'm nervous about being stuck with an obligation I didn't ask for for a kid that's not my blood. Should that situation come to pass, should I be a male present? Kind of already am, but with some limits. Thanks. We'll keep you anonymous. So there we go. Here's there's morally and then there's legally. Legally, the GF has to go and talk to a lawyer, or you guys just got to look up and say, hey, how do I get out of being a godparent? And just and she's got to be honest with her friend. And I think you should be able to have the right to terminate, like it's not up to the kid or the family. Like you can revoke your godparentship. But like I said, I don't know what the rule, and that may be state by state. I don't know. But I would also, the right and moral thing to do is your girlfriend says, look, I didn't know I'd have a boyfriend by this time. I really love him, and he doesn't want kids. And if something were to happen to Johnny, he's not going to be around. He's not going to want to participate in that because he didn't sign up for it. And you have every right to. You could. It's up to you if you want to stick around for that or not. But you have every right to walk away. We're talking morally. I'm sure it would hurt. It's not fun, but not bad things happen to good people sometimes. That's the problem. But the logical moral thing to do is give little Johnny up to Jim's side of the family, because they're a closer bloodline. They're still talking. And they're also more capable of doing that. They already have a family. They're married. You guys didn't want any of that. You didn't want kids. And obviously I would not take any of this out on your girlfriend. How did she know that there's no malice here? No conniving, no scheming. So she's got to, that's the conversation you'd have to have. Like, I can't be the grandmother anymore, or godmother anymore, godparent, because you don't want to be the godfather. Oh, the God. Guys, remember Good Feathers from Animaniacs? I always wanted to be a good feather ever since I could remember. He says, may many poops fly from the sky. So that's what she's got. She's going to have to talk to her friend. I don't want to be that. But I think it'd be worth taking a little bit of money and hiring, or at least taking the time to research it. Like, can you renege on, can you just like sign a document to the courthouse? Say, hey, you got to pick up when, I love your kid, but my boyfriend doesn't really like, yeah, I like your kid too, but I never wanted kids. And you may have to legally go through that. I can't, God, I hope to God people are mature enough not to be angry or pissed off and sue over something like this. Maybe it is just better to talk to a lawyer and find out, but research it online, see what you have to legally do. Then I would also, you got to talk to the friend, but if you don't want to go behind her back either, and talk to Jimmy too, get the husband in there, say, look, she's the godparent. I want kids. I mean, you could talk to Jimmy, say, your family want him. I mean, not that I don't like Johnny, but I really didn't like it. She didn't know what she was doing. And, and if you do you don't want to threaten it and say, because if you don't, we're going down to the courthouse and filing the document that says that we don't have to anymore. She doesn't have to anymore. And be fully prepared to lose a friend over this. Not you, but her. That's just how it goes. I don't know. I have the least of faith of people. I've seen great people get pissed off about the minorest of things where I'm like, what? What? Of all the bad things I've done and said, that's the one that pisses you off? Oh, so there you go. Okay, no super chats. Awesome. Rafa, talk to the state. He's a great friend. Yes, the state is great. The state is, that's what I got to do. Nonstop Dre paid me to do a Clary original. Now I know what I'm going to do. I forgot about that. All right, questions, answers. AssholeConsulting.com. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.